from 14 to 20 years of age. It's designed and geared around leadership, accountability, character, and respect, and helps young people to become future leaders and public safety personnel. Officer Benavides and Davis want you to know that the Police Explorer Unit is an opportunity to develop the skills necessary for success in life, and it's open to all. Officer Benavides and Officer Davis, we salute you. Thank you for your commitment and service to the students here in Austin.
Like their run through.
The Bowie Bulldogs. Officials for tonight's ballgame come from the Texas Association of Sports Officials and Austin chapter. The head referee is Brian Jones, umpire Rob McClendon, line judge Rick Womble, linesman Aaron Hinojosa, field judge Jerry Johnson, side judge Stephen Moore, and the back judge Matthew Martinez.
It's the first game of October, and we have another edition of the Austin Thursday Night ISD Game of the Week here on SHN Sports. I'm Karl Schoening along with Chuck Kracy. On the camera tonight, it is David England. And as we get ready for the coin toss to take place at center field, we'll go ahead and bring it in so you get to take a look at us for the first time tonight, the only time tonight. So
yeah, hopefully we don't break the camera.
We have a good one tonight. It's a district matchup in 25-6A between the Bowie Bulldogs and the Anderson Trojans, and here from historic House Park in downtown Austin, Texas. We hope you enjoy this broadcast as we bring some competitive 6A football tonight. And these two teams looking for a much-needed district win.
Yeah, and in District 25-6A, which includes Westlake and Lake Travis, this is a game that both of these teams really need to win to position themselves for postseason play.
And the big question tonight will be on the Anderson Trojan side. Will it be Karsten Gross or Scott Del Bosque that will be getting the start tonight, as there's a little bit of question in that. We're going to go ahead and air the national anthem, and then we'll come back for kickoff here from House Park.
Ask you gentlemen, if you would, please remove your caps in respect to this great nation of ours. Tonight, the Star Spangled Banner will be performed by the Anderson High School Band. Ladies and gentlemen, the Star Spangled Banner.
A nicely done rendition of the national anthem from the Anderson Trojan Marching Band as they're on the side opposite of us. We're here on the east side of House Park, a beautiful view of the skyline of Austin, Texas to our left. The Anderson Trojans will be wearing blue uniforms with yellow trim, yellow numerals, blue helmets, and white pants. Meanwhile, on the other side, it'll be the Bowie Bulldogs with black helmets and white jerseys with black pants. The numerals are black fading into red as you go from top to bottom. I'm Karl Schoening along with Chuck Kracy. This is Austin ISD Thursday night game of the week, and a big one here for District 25 6A.
Yeah, I just want to chime in there, Karl. I forgot to mention Hayes, who has beaten both of these teams, also looking to make the playoffs here in 25 6A. And it makes this game that much more important for these two teams. And it's a pink out here at House Park as we battle breast cancer and bring about breast cancer awareness throughout football in the month of October.
That's right, it is October, and you'll be seeing a lot of pink here at these football games. Kicking it away for the Bowie Bulldogs will be Josh McCormick. And back deep to receive for the Anderson Trojans, Trevor Merrick, as well as Coy Fulmer. McCormick will take a 10-yard charge, puts toe to leather. This game's underway, an end-over-end kick that will be taken in the back of the end zone, and a knee taken there by Trevor Merrick, and a touchback to start off this ball game. So from the 25 is where the Anderson Trojans will start their first offensive drive.
That's the new touchback rule. If you catch a fair catch within the – that one went to the end zone, though, didn't it?
Yeah, that one was in the end zone, but within the 10, it's a fair catch that you can call for a touchback. Well, coming out for the Anderson Trojans, it is Scott Del Bosque. He's going to be under center, hands it off to Fulmer, who goes around right in, and he's immediately gobbled up from behind for a tackle for a loss back to the 24-yard line. And it's a loss of a yard tackle by Elijah Wesley.
Anderson huddling. High school teams traditionally running the zone will not typically huddle. Anderson running a little bit different of an offense. The double wing modified veer. Some schools are starting to pick that up.
It's a handoff that goes behind the left guard as we have the second play from scrimmage on 2nd and 11. They're able to get back to the original line of scrimmage as that handoff went to Fulmer Givens, and that brings up 3rd and 10.
Givens a big fullback. If they get him going there in the middle, that could wear down the Bowie defense, which is the idea in this offense. Pound the middle and soften it up.
Yeah, you also see a little bit of a triple action threat every now and again that also plays into, run. Eventually, they're so concerned with the run that it's a simple pass setup. Del Bosque will toss it this time to Fulmer. He tries to go around right end, and he is hit in the backfield, and he still stays on his feet before being shoved out of bounds. Clock keeps running after a pickup of about 2 yards to the 27-yard line, and that'll bring up a 4th and 6. I think they marked it at the 26, so they'll be a punting unit.
Great job by the Bowie defense to string that out. It looks like laterally they're moving pretty well from side to side defensively. They shut down the Anderson attack here early.
Jackson Lord back deep to receive this punt. It'll be Coy Fulmer who will punt it away. Puts his foot into it, and it's a wobbly punt that will be taken by Jackson Lord at the 35. He finds room down the numbers on the left side, cuts back to the 45, the 40. He has 2 men to beat as he crosses the 30. Down to the right side, the 20. He has the angle on him, the 10-5 touchdown on the punt return. Jackson Lord puts the Bulldogs up with that going in the offensive side of the ball.
Bowie strikes quickly via special teams. Excellent return. No flags on the field. Great blocking by the Bowie special teams.
down for the Bulldogs, number 18.
Josh McCormick will come out for the point after attempt. So McCormick sends that one through the uprights, and an early 7-0 lead here for Bowie as 9:34 left in the first quarter. The Bowie Bulldogs strike first with their special teams on the punt return that goes from Jackson Lord. So that's one way to start a game.
Quick, there are 3 phases to the game of football. There's offense, there's defense, and, of course, there's special teams. And you really kind of need to win 2 of those to win most games. And Bowie showing that they have some skill in the special teams area, striking quickly.
Starting with a touchback that goes into the end zone as well. So that's worth noting because it looked like it was going to be a good offensive field position. Instead, starts off with a solid punt return for a touchdown.
And we'll see what kind of answer the Trojans have here for that Bowie score. The first offensive series, they were unable to get a first down. In fact, only netted about 2 yards on that first series. So they're going to have to come with some kind of answer here, even if it is just moving the ball and eating clock.
McCormick will line up his ensuing kickoff. Fulmer and Merrick back deep to receive this kick. Total Leather, another beauty end-over-end kick. This one goes even deeper, and they'll just let it go out the back of the end zone for another touchback. So, again, from the 25, we're going to see that wing formation come back out. And, that's made a little bit of a comeback. It used to be something that you usually only saw in the Pee Wee leagues back when the spread became popularized, and now a lot of teams are going back to just running it a lot.
Well, and not to date myself or anything, but when I played, that was the offense that most people ran. So it is a very effective offense if it's done correctly. The Bowie defense did a great job in the first series. Let's see what Anderson brings to them here in this series.
Karsten Grossen at quarterback now, and he hands it off to Givens, and Givens gets through the trenches and is brought down from behind across the 30 to the 32-yard line.
Almost lost the handle on that one.
Yeah, he picked up a solid 6 yards.
There was a big hole there, and he was about a step or 2 away from going a long way. And you notice the Bowie Bulldogs have almost all 11 players in the box right now trying to stop that offense. So we'll see if Anderson tries to make them pay with some kind of pass here in the next series of plays. I wouldn't expect it here on 2nd and short, but we'll see.
Gruce under center. Hands it off on the end around, and then being brought down across the 35. The man with the ball, as he picks up the first down is Cooper Tyler. And the first down to the 35.
Buccaneers number 46 for the Trojans.
So Anderson working a little more methodically here as they're able to find a little bit more running room along the outside. And this is where the game's going to be won, in the trenches. So Anderson doing a little better here on their second series, picking up a first down.
I'm sure they got a nice chewing on the sideline after that first series.
Gruce under center. Hands it to Fulmer. Fulmer goes around right end, gets across the 35 to the 40 before he's brought down, and has a pickup of 5 on first down.
I want to give some credit. It looks like Karsten Gruce was in on that play at quarterback, number 11, and he continued through after handing off the fake. He rolled out like a naked boot and even made a passing motion, which you got to keep the defense honest. Keep those guys on this side of the field. They're able to pick up 6.
Eventually that won't be a fake.
Exactly.
2nd and 5 from the 40. The huddle breaks, and they work quickly as Gruce goes under center. 2 men in the backfield with him. It's a handoff to Fulmer. He goes behind his right guard and gets close to the first down and is stopped just short at the 44-yard line. It'll be 3rd and inches coming up here in a moment for the Trojans.
They're going to mark them about a yard short, but that was great push by the Anderson offensive line.
Apologize, we don't have his number in the program.
So the Trojans here looking to put together a drive. You know, the benefit of the offense is that you keep the ball away from the opponent. And they can't score without the ball.
And the clock also gets chewed up. About 3 minutes have come off here on this drive. Merrick leaves the huddle first, and now the huddle is broken. 2 men in the backfield with Gruce. He hands it off to Givens, and he gets the first down.
Flag
the whistles
down.
Come in here to stop the play. Usually this is a false start.
Yeah, it was pre-snap that I started to hear a whistle right before the snap of the ball. Flag came out a little after the whistle, and then they blew it again. Let's see what the call. It was almost a delay of game, but they called timeout.
Yeah, so a little bit of a break there instead of the penalty, which in this run game, 3rd and 6, it's a big difference between 3rd and 1. They'll take the timeout. Even though you don't like burning them early, it's important to try and answer back after falling behind so quickly.
I agree that you haven't even seen the Bowie offense yet, and you're down 7. So you want to make sure that at the very least you flip the field and eat some of the clock and force Bowie into a long field at minimum. Hopefully you want to go down and score, obviously. But
yeah, that's the ideal situation, and right now it's all right burning that timeout. The coach keeping a solid eye on that play clock, and whistles came in. One ref must have saw the delay of game where the flags came out, and then one ref had the timeout from the coaches. So crucial possession, even though we're here with 6:43 left in the first quarter.
And that timeout did come from the sidelines, but there is a play clock on either side of the field, so the quarterback is responsible to keep an eye on that clock.
Karsten Gruce telling the huddle what the play call will be. Last time it was a handoff to Givens. Givens is in the backfield. 2 men in the backfield there with Gruce. They give it to Givens again, and Givens gives them the yard they need, plus a little bit more out to the 48-yard line. The Trojans still in their own territory, but they pick up the first down.
They're marching, though, matriculating the ball down the field as it's often called.
And now they can slow it down a little bit. 25 seconds on the play clock as Gruce gets the play from the sidelines. Karsten Gruce, who did not start this ball game, came in here in this second series. He sends Merrick out wide left and coordinates the rest of the play with his teammates. Givens, the fullback. Fulmer goes in motion to give to Givens, and Givens gets across the 50, and
he was tripped by one of his offensive linemen's legs. Otherwise, that goes for a lot more.
Picked up 2 yards, 2nd and 8 coming up from midfield.
Yeah, when you're running this offense, the defense tends to stack up the box and bodies fly. So as a running back, you've got to high chop your legs and continue to drive your feet. But the clock continues to burn.
4 minutes here on this drive.
2nd and 8.
Gruce from midfield tosses it to Fulmer. Fulmer under pressure is able to break away from one tackle, get back to the line of scrimmage, and he might have picked up half a yard, but it could have been a lot worse there as Coy Fulmer was able to evade one tackler. And I'd say that he's probably at the half-yard mark of the 49, but they placed the ball right at the 50. So a little bit of left foot, right foot, where are you going to push the ball on the spot, and it's back to the 50. No gain on the play. 3rd and 8 coming up.
No gain on the play to bring up 3rd down.
About 5 minutes left here in the first period as Anderson eats a lot of clock here in this drive, down 7 to the Bulldogs.
Week 1 at the Taco Shack Bowl, we saw this being their strategy going up against McCallum, and it came back to haunt them as they were down by 1 point with less than a minute left in the game. So you have to go to that quick fire offense, and when you go to that from this slow methodical offense, it changes things up here on 3rd and 8. A little pass play out to the left side. It's a screen that's broken up and batted down, and Merrick will go down to chase it. And
it's an incompletion,
It should be an incomplete pass. The whistles come in way late. And
it was definitely knocked down by the defensive end of the Bowie Bulldogs here on the right side.
Yeah, the officials will go ahead and now, after the play that ended up all the way back at the 30, will say incomplete pass. That's a break for the punting unit as Jackson Lord, who scored the only points of the game so far on a punt return, will go ahead and head back.
But the Trojans do flip the field here as long as they get a decent enough punt.
4:38 is where the clock stops on the incomplete pass. That means about 5 minutes were chewed up there on the second series for the Trojans. Merrick will punt this one back to Jackson Lord, who's waiting at the 15. It's a fake. It's a little throw over to the right side, and Fulmer couldn't come down with it. Turnover on downs at midfield.
It was wide open. The pass was not there. It's one of those, oh no, that is wide open, and you better throw a good pass. It got away from him, and that could hurt the Trojans here as they don't actually flip the field.
Well, after seeing what Jackson Lord did last time, I feel like it's worth throwing out a little bit of a surprise, and yeah, it would have been a first down if Fulmer had come down with the catch.
The play
was
there.
High.
Excellent call. The play was there. You got to execute, though.
So now Mallett will come in at quarterback, his first chance. He has Terrence Durst to his right. Out of the shotgun. Mallett will run it right, gets a good block as he goes wide to the right side across the 45 and down to the 41-yard line.
That's actually Kyle Carter, the running back. They're running a wildcat right now on us.
Didn't quite catch the number there as he was blocked by Durst from my point of view, but
Sure.
that does change things up, and he's staying in there. So it'll be Kyle Carter.
A little surprise from the Bowie coaches for the coaching staff over at Anderson to scramble and try to defend.
So that was a gain of 9, so it'll be 2nd and 1. Here's the handoff to Durst. He goes around the right side, picks up the first down, crosses the 35, and gets to the 34-yard line, and that'll move the chains. Clock pauses at 3:53 to do so, and Durst gets his first give and picks up the first down for the Bulldogs.
Josh Hall there on the stop for the Anderson Trojans.
Good for a Bulldog first down. It'll be 1st and 10, Bowie.
So Carter still in the game, but he moves out wide left. Coming into the game now, Evan Mallett for the first possession at quarterback. He does finally come out. He has an empty set 5 wide. Trips left, 2 receivers to the right side. Ball on the 33-yard line, 1st and 10. Mallett will look for a screen on the left side. He gets it to Carter. Carter has a few good blocks, gets across the 30, and is tripped up just short of the 25-yard line.
That's Jackson Green there, the senior defensive back on the stop for the Trojans.
Jackson Green. Pass play's good for 7 yards. Brings up
That's a gain of 7, so 2nd and 3 coming up here. Now joined in the backfield as flags come in, a false start. That was Jackson Lord in the backfield for a moment, but we're going to go ahead and back it up 5 yards, and then we'll try this again. So 2nd and 8 coming up.
Kyle Carter, the running back there now, the senior.
That'll bring up 2nd down and 8.
Yeah, Carter lines up to the left of Mallett. They're in the shotgun, 2 receivers to the right side, 2 receivers to the left side. 2nd and 8, the handoff to Carter. Carter breaks away from the trenches to the right side, cuts to the numbers and cuts back down to the right hash mark. Gets across the 20, has the first down, and they're in the red zone for the first time tonight.
That was Ortiz on the stop for the Trojans. But great job by the Bowie Bulldog offensive line there. They were able to seal off the edge.
1st and 10, Bowie.
1st and 10 from the 18. It's a fake toss from Mallett. He decides to cut back up the middle and picks up yards to the 16-yard line.
He saw a lane, instead of pitching, decided to take it forward. But Sincere Turner there, number 38 on the stop.
So a gain of 3 as Turner does a good job staying with the quarterback and not falling for the fake pitch. Brings up 2nd and 7, ball on the 16-yard line.
Bulldogs eating a little bit of clock this drive.
Durst in the backfield with Carter, who's the Wildcat quarterback. A little bit of a wrinkle brought in here. It's a zone read. Keeping it will be Carter. He runs behind his right guard and is able to get to the 12-yard line. And it's really interesting when you have 2 pretty athletic quarterbacks back there. You might not need to pass.
Well, looking at the statistics in the district, the Bowie quarterbacks don't appear on the statistics, and so I don't know if that was just the statistic website I was using or.
Sometimes that's how it goes. It will be another run for Carter, a power run as he's in the Wildcat. He picks up the first down, gets inside the 10 to the 5, and that sets up first and goal from the 5. So Carter really showing off what he can do. I bet you he's been looking forward to this opportunity all week. He gets it on the first offensive series.
Yeah, there's a big series here to try to slow down that offense by the Trojans here, see if they can hold them to 3.
Carter will try for the end zone again, and he runs behind the 2 blockers and is stopped short at around the 2-yard line, and might as well keep going with it as long as it's working.
Yeah, that's what coaches will do. I'm going to keep running this until you stop it, and that's what the Bowie Bulldogs are doing here. They're on the stop, number 99, Akee Hausman, big defensive lineman.
It'll be second down and goal to go for the Bulldogs.
So Evan Mallett now in at quarterback. He's in a pistol with Carter behind him. The give to Carter. He runs up the gut, and he falls into the end zone. It's a Bowie touchdown.
Great job by the Bowie offensive line on that series, opening up holes down the field, and it's now 13-0 pending the extra point.
McCormick will come in for the point after attempt. The hold here from Elliser, and it goes over Elliser's head. He has to pick it up, and he is hit, and the point after attempt will be no good, and the score remains 13-0. So Bowie, with 19 seconds left here in the first quarter, has a 13-0 lead. And, that's maybe the downside to Anderson eating up so much clock. It takes away opportunities for them to get back on their offensive side of the ball.
Well, and that's why it's important to keep yourself in front of the chains when you're running that offense. And in addition, you have to execute. The football's often called the game of inches. The pass on the fake punt was maybe 6 inches too tall for the wide open receiver. Otherwise, the score may be 7-7 instead of 14-0 or 13-0 rather.
Yeah, and that extra point, you never know when that might come back to haunt them too, as
True.
That was a high snap over the head of Aiden Elliser.
Yeah, whoever's the deep snapper will be on the sideline working on that. And I've done deep snapping. It is probably one of the more high-pressure moments in a game for any individual.
They didn't let me do the shotgun snap when I was the quarterback. American Fulmer back deep to receive this kickoff from Josh McCormick. 19 seconds left in the opening quarter. Bowie leading 13-0 over Anderson. McCormick will line up his 10-yard charge.
We got Merrick back deep along with Fulmer for the Trojans.
This one is end over end and has an opportunity to be returned. It'll be Fulmer who takes it from the 1, goes right down the middle of the field, gets across the 15 to the 20 and down to the 21-yard line. And this will be the furthest back from the end zone the Trojans have been all night, because they've had 2 touchbacks to start off their drives at the 25.
Right. In fact, that one probably could have been one of those new rule fair catches, and you end up with 5 more yards. But you want to try to make a play. And Fulmer was, that close to breaking that. Already 15 seconds. The game clocks will expire before the play clock does, but Anderson wasting no time.
Yeah, here's a flip on the first play of the drive, and
Trevor Merrick on that. No, it was not.
It
46.
Yeah, that was John Knox who got the handoff, and that will be the final play of the first quarter. So, after 1, it's the Bowie Bulldogs leading the Anderson Trojans 13-0 here on SHN Sports Thursday night. Austin ISD game of the week. When we come back, it'll be a 2nd and 10, as there was no gain on that play. And for those of you just now joining us, Bowie struck first with a special teams punt return that went 70 yards from Jackson Lord. He was able to get away from his defenders and take it all the way to the house. And then on the first offensive series, it was Kyle Carter who was spending time at both running back, receiver, and quarterback, who got the handoff and picked up a 2-yard touchdown run. The point after attempt was no good, and the Bowie Bulldogs have this 13-0 lead going into the second quarter. So they switch sides. Now it'll be the Anderson Trojans wearing the blue jerseys going towards the north end zone.
Yep. We'll see if Anderson can do what they did in their second offensive series and move the ball and eat clock. See if they can produce points.
Karsten Gruss starts under center here. He keeps it himself, goes around the left end, and he is pushed back. And it's a loss by 1 yard back to the 20.
The whole left side of the Anderson line was crashed down by the Bowie Bulldog defense. Excellent job by that defense.
You brought it up, almost 11 guys in the box any given time here. And
you know, you have to be able to audible into some kind of pass if you see that, because the idea is if you bring them all in the box, you should be able to make them pay for that. At this point in the season, you should have enough packages in, even in this offense, where you can throw the ball out of it.
It's 3rd and 11, and they're going to take a timeout. Didn't like what they saw as the play clock was winding down. In fact, it hit 0. So both timeouts, 2 timeouts already burned, both of them to save a delay of game, and not the most opportune time. Last time it was 3rd and 1. This time it's 3rd and 11.
Well, and you know, as we mentioned, the Bowie Bulldogs had 10 of their 11 defensive players in the box on that play. Now, the reason a lot of teams run the zone is to spread those guys out across the field so that you can run in between the tackles. Anderson's going to have to figure out what to do there. They're going to either need to release someone out into the flat. When they fake a run, they're going to have to get a pass or two to loosen up the Bowie Bulldog defense. They just keep moving closer and closer to the line of scrimmage and tighter into the box.
Yeah, and we've only saw the 2 pass attempts. The one that was batted down, and then the fake punt.
Yeah, that was a pass, but I wouldn't count that in terms of your passing attack, although it would have been the only completion. That guy was wide open. So.
And statistically, I guess it goes down as a pass attempt.
It does.
So out of the timeout, Karsten Gruss will go ahead and talk things over with his team. They need 11 yards out to the 31 to pick up the first down. Gruss will drop back, and he is immediately sacked. The sack made by the Bulldogs. Sam Stallworth, and I actually beg your pardon, that was Scott Del Bosque who was brought down on the sack. So they switched out quarterbacks for an obvious passing down. And that went ahead and was blown up immediately by the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that pass rush from the Bulldog defense, Del Bosque didn't have a chance to do anything except for eat the football. 4th and 15 here.
Back deep to receive is Jackson Lord. He's at the 50. Merrick will punt this one away from the 5-yard line. Line drives it, and Lord will take it from the 45. Finds room across the 40 to the 35. Brought down to the 33. Flags on the play.
Langford there with a nice open field tackle for the Trojans.
There is a penalty flag on the field.
See what the flag's about, but I think this one will go against the Bulldogs.
It's usually a block in the back or a hold in that situation. It did come from behind the line of scrimmage, though, but the referee marking it against Bowie. It was a block in the back.
Yeah, that will put the ball at the 43 from the 10-yard penalty. So 1st and 10 from the 43. The Bulldogs in the Trojans' territory. 2 men in the backfield here with Mallet. He has Carter behind him. And Green to his left. It's the give to Carter. He tries to find space behind his right tackle and stutter steps to the 40, picks up 3 yards on first down.
Pretty good job by the Anderson defense to stuff the middle there. Still giving up 3 yards, 2nd and 7.
Carter to the left of Mallet, 2 receivers on both sides. 2nd and 7 from the 40, and flags come in. Looks like a false start on the center, maybe? Looks like he was the only one who did anything.
They called it on the left tackle.
He must have jumped right before the snap.
Number 69, Adrian Hurtado, the left tackle, getting called for that false start.
5-yard mark-off takes the ball back to the 45-yard
So
line.
2nd and 13 from the 45. Now in the shotgun. Rolls out to the right, and it's a draw play as he hands it off to Carter. Carter spins at the 40 and is brought down at the 36-yard line. That picks up.
He's still short of the first down there.
That picks up about 8 yards, and it'll bring up a 3rd and short.
It'll bring up 3rd down and 3 yards to go. Make that the 36-yard line.
About 3rd and 4, 3.5, long 3. Back to the Wildcat.
Carter in the Wildcat. He has Durst to his left, and he'll follow Durst on the block behind the left guard and gets across the 30, picks up the 1st down to the 28-yard line.
I guess we should probably call it the Wild Dogs since they're the Bulldogs.
I suppose that works. Anybody tuning in later will have to explain that too, but we'll call it the Wild Dog after this.
That's probably what they call it, but I'm just guessing. I don't know that for sure.
Clock picks back up at 8:45 left here in the second quarter. It's a pistol look here from Mallett. He sends a man in motion, and whistles stop this play before it gets started, as it looked like Jackson Lord might have had an opportunity to get an end around, but a timeout is called by the Bulldogs as they didn't like what they saw. And 8:40 left here in the first half, and the first timeout burned by the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it's interesting that they called a timeout there. I don't know what they saw because, like you said, it looked like the end on the left side was going to open up. But sometimes you already have that timeout ready to go before the play is starting to develop. So, and of course, the ball wasn't snapped, and they called it.
It was pretty close. The ball ended up getting snapped, if I'm not mistaken.
It did.
Yeah, but whistles came in to stop that play before. That's almost the worst thing that could happen. Whistles go, but the play doesn't stop.
Somebody didn't like what they saw. So, Anderson, last time they played Bowie, they lost 52-17 to the Bulldogs. And so, you expect them to want to avenge that loss. But so far, Bowie continuing to give it to them here in the first half.
Anderson, a much improved team from last year's 1-win season. 2 men in the backfield with Mallett. He has Carter to his left, Green in at the fullback. And it's a play action. Mallett will drop back. He's under pressure. He's sacked. The sack made by the Trojans. Big man up front, Akai Hussaman.
That was it almost looked like a delayed blitz, but it just took him a second to get off his block. And then he surged into the backfield to bring Mallett down.
That's a loss of 7. So 2nd and 17, ball at the 35-yard line. Mallett in the shotgun. He keeps it on the play action the zone read and decides to run around the left end and picks up yards to the 32-yard line and picks up about 5 yards.
Great read by Mallett there to pull and keep it as Akai Hausman was in quickly to take care of Kyle Carter, who would have been the recipient of that handoff. 3rd and 14 now.
3rd and 14 from the 32, trips to the right. Carter to the right of Mallett. Lord is the receiver isolated on the left side. A drop back here from Mallett. Fires across the middle. It's incomplete. Going off the hands of the intended receiver, Jaden York. And that stops the clock at 7:30, and this is kind of no man's land. A punt would obviously pin him deep, but it looks like they will bring out the punting unit.
You almost have to punt it because of the down and distance. You need 14 yards. It's difficult to gain 14 yards, even in this no man land territory. I mean, if you're less than 10 yards to convert, then you're likely going for it here. But it looks like they brought in Lord to punt.
Lord will go ahead and punt, and nobody back deep to receive for the Trojans, so see how this works out as it does go high and short, and it's called for at the 23-yard line. It looked like it might have been a fair catch, but instead it'll be brought around the 30 and then being dropped at the 30. A good return opportunity there for Andre Jackson for the Trojans. The defensive back who is a stellar athlete goes ahead and makes a solid play. He must have not had his hand above his head because it looks like he called for a fair catch.
Well, after that North Texas fake punt, fake fair catch that they pulled against Arkansas, you can't take any chances to make sure that that's for sure called.
Everyone's on alert.
The punter was Ludeman. I had incorrect.
31, not
31.
21.
Correct.
It looks like 21 from our angle.
Correct.
So it'll be Scott Del Bosque here at the quarterback, and he hands it off to Givens. Givens fights across the 35 and is dropped at the 38-yard line. The tackle made by the Bulldogs, Kendrick Neptune.
Givens on the carry for the Trojans, takes the ball out to the 38.
So that was pickup of 7, 2nd and 3 coming up.
Gain of 7 on the play, brings up 2nd down.
And that clock keeps burning as the Trojans continue to march here.
6:50 left here in the second quarter. Merrick lines up wide left, and he takes a defender with him. The rest of the players in the box for the Bulldogs. Del Bosque sends his man in motion, hands it off to Givens. Givens runs up the gut, and he stops short of the first down. Does get to the 40. That'll bring up a 3rd and 1.
Real quick, another game going on right now. The Austin High Maroons are losing to Del Valle 21-0 here in the first quarter.
Other games going on around District 25-6A here in the Austin ISD School District. Scott Del Bosque will send Merrick out wide left and goes ahead and goes under center. Man goes in motion, and it's the give to Givens, and Givens gets across the 45. Ball might have come loose, but I think they got right back on top of it, and looked like there was a dive for it there, unable to pick it up were the Bulldogs, and first down picked up by the Trojans.
Well, Givens is a load, a big fella, and he's not going to go down easy, and a lot of guys are ripping at that football. That's the second time it came loose with it in his hand.
And once he gets that head of steam and gets past the trenches, he does a good job picking up another 4 or 5 yards. So 1st and 10 from the 46. The Trojans still in their own territory. Scott Del Bosque will go under center. It's a pitch to Fulmer. Fulmer runs around right end and picks up yards to the 49-yard line as he was stopped on the play by Terrence Durst.
Well, and you'll take 3-4 yards every play as long as you keep yourself ahead of the chains in this offense. I mean, the Bowie, or the Anderson fans have a sign across the way that says "Pound the Rock," and that's what this offense is about. And that's what they're doing at the moment.
Del Bosque sends a man in motion, fakes the pitch, and gives the handoff, but flags come in and whistle stop this play as it looked like it was going to be a Fulmer run up the middle. And let's see, this will probably be on the offense. Yeah, false start, backs him up 5 yards. And to the counter of your point, penalties are really a backbreaker when you run this offense.
You have to stay ahead of the chains. That's part of the key to it. You can't really shoot yourself in the foot, and especially if you're down a couple of scores. Just another update for a local score, not in this district, 13-6A. Hendrickson is on top of Stony Point, 18-3, with about 4 minutes left in the first half.
You can see that game on by our friends KBVO. There was a point in time where we were almost stalking them, picking the same Thursday night games to broadcast. Del Bosque under center. Fakes the handoff, will drop back for a pass under pressure. He's immediately sacked.
Had no time at all to set up. In fact, he saw number 23, Elijah Wesley, come in from the kind of the bandit position there and drop him for a big loss.
And that's the other thing about this offense, to maybe maintain the illusion. Faking those handoffs will make those passing plays a little slower developing.
It does cause it to develop slowly, and you have to sustain your blocks for those plays to be effective, and it did not occur on that play. 3:45 left in the half.
Del Bosque under center, 3rd and 20 from the 36. Trojans in their own territory. 5-step drop. He pump fakes under pressure, and he will be sacked yet again. This time, the Bulldog making the sack. It's Ethan Daughtry.
Yeah, that pass, Del Bosque was looking at number 21, Coy Fulmer, over here near the first down marker, but Great coverage there by the defensive back Terrence Durst, number 2, forcing the punt.
Yeah, I saw 12. It was actually 13, Daughtry, and I was like, no way they have the quarterback in playing left
playing
edge.
a little defense. Not at 6A. You might see that in 3 or 4A, but you're not going to see it really in 6A. Not the quarterback.
So Mark will kick this one away, and Lord is back deep to receive it. He'll take it at the 33-yard line, cuts away to the left hash and is tripped up by the turf. And
turf monster guy.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and start this drive for the Bulldogs from their own 40-yard line.
So the Bulldogs here looking to add to their lead. They have about just under 3 minutes at 2:47 left in the half. The Trojans, they want to keep this close. They need to make a stop here, get the ball back.
So Mount will come back out. He'll have Carter behind him here in the pistol formation. Man goes in motion, and it's a give to Carter. He goes behind his left guard, has a little bit of space as he tries to go for the 44-yard line, brought down on the tackle by Cameron Langford.
Carry's good for 4 yards, brings up second down and 6.
Second and 6. They're going to keep this tempo fast out of the shotgun. Malif from the 44-yard line. Zone read, and he keeps it, runs around the right edge, spins across the 45, and is dropped at the 46-yard line after being tackled by Jackson Green.
Great effort by the Trojan defense there as they didn't bite on the fake and were able to keep the gain to minimal.
Minute 55 is where the clock keeps moving here on 3rd and 4 from the 46. Bulldogs in their own territory. Tight end goes in motion left to right. Mallet in the shotgun. Carter to his left. Hands it to Carter. Carter runs around the left end. Stops short of the first down. Picks up 2 yards to the 48-yard line. And the Bulldogs will not keep pressing their luck here. They're going to go ahead and punt it away.
Big 99, Akey Hausman there for the Trojans to make the stop, the defensive end. Great job, because if he doesn't make that tackle, it's a first down, and the Bowie Bulldogs are continuing to march. And as I mentioned, they needed to really get a stop here. Bowie's going to call a timeout, being near midfield, up 2 scores, 4th and 2. They may end up going for it here.
I think it's a debatable topic. In my opinion, they've done a good job picking up those 2 yards the rest of the night, and their defense, they trust enough to probably keep the Trojans out of the end zone here with a minute 22.
Conservatively, that's how I would play this, but you know, I wouldn't have had a fake punt earlier that would have been successful had the pass been completed. So also don't get paid to coach. So it's a lot easier to sit up here and make the call.
Yeah. Well, you know, those who don't coach speak.
That's right.
Yeah.
They question from the stands usually.
Yeah, we're the ones that can always, in hindsight, be like, why'd they do that?
Right, exactly.
It's the beauty of this job, actually.
Oh, yeah. The ultimate armchair quarterback.
Oh, yeah, that's why it's hard to get paid to talk, because you got to at least sound like you know what you're talking about.
Or at least be funny. If you
that helps. Yeah, if you can't sound smart, at least be funny.
There you go. And so we'll see what the decision was. Looks like they are going to go for it here. They're in the
Wild Dog. Yeah, they're in the Wild Dog,
right.
as Green will be the fullback, and Whistle stopped this play, and it looks like
Trojans
Anderson wants to try. Yeah, they're going to take their final time out of the half of the minute 25 left here in the second quarter.
Well, and that'll hurt them in the offense that they run, because, you know, that's the idea is you're eating clock. It's tougher to stop the clock. And one of the goals in running this offense, if you're behind, you should have some type of package that you can run out there. I always call it a 4-minute offense, where you're trying to come back at any point during the game. You should be able to move the ball quickly and be on the line of scrimmage after a play without huddling. It's more difficult when you run the offense that the Trojans are running, and that we've seen other schools in the area go to, Leander being one of those. Hayes is also running a modified veer this season for the first time, and are undefeated with it successfully, and beat both of these teams.
Well, we'll have to see how it works out for them here, as it will be Carter again along with Durst in the backfield, the fullback being Green. 4th and 2 with 1:25 left in the second quarter. Blitz being shown by the Trojans, obvious run play, and picking up the first down and a lot more as Carter gets across the 40, and he's brought down to the 39-yard line. A good play, and gutsy call gives 1:19 left here for Bowie to try and add on to their 13-0 lead.
Yeah, ultimately, the way they're moving the ball, it's a pretty good call, and it pays off for the Bulldogs. 1st and 10. Wild dog.
Yeah, another opportunity here for Carter. He gets to the 31-yard line before he runs out of bounds. That stops the clock at 1:02 as Jordan Hood picks up the stop, and a flag in the backfield in the area of a hold. So that might have sprung that play open. It will be a hold.
Hood getting some work in here for the Trojans as he makes 2 tackles in a row. 1:02 left in the half.
So after the hold, it's 1st and 20. Ball goes to the 49. Bulldogs still in their own territory. Mallett will come in at quarterback out of the shotgun. He sends Carter into the short slot and back in motion over to the left side. Trips left, and he's confused. He'll run back over to the right side. He's going to stay on the right side. Trips right, 2 receivers on the left side. Now will drop back, fakes a pass to the screen on the left side, gets to Jackson Lord. He gets across the 45 to the 40, and that's where he's marked down just short of that original line of scrimmage as Evan Mallett completes it. They're not going to stop the clock here with 36 seconds left. They're just going to keep this up. So 2nd and 11 here for Mallett. Drops back for a pass, scans to the left side, fires to the left side, and it's almost intercepted, going off of the fingertips of Spencer Turner.
Sincere Turner. In fact, that could have gone back for 6 if he hangs on to it.
The incomplete pass stops the clock at 27 seconds. Sorry, dyslexia kicking in and trying to read the name quickly.
There's not that many children that have been named Sincere over the years. With a Y, no less.
Mallett in the shotgun. Carter to his right, trips to the right side. Mallett will drop back, scans to the left side, fires, and overthrows his intended receiver. That was meant for Cade Fordori, and that stops the clock at 23 seconds here. Now the punt team will come out. This decision a little bit easier to make at 4th and 11 than it was at 4th and 2 earlier.
With 23 seconds, all you have to do is cover this punt or kick it out of the end zone and rely on your defense, and you'll get into half with a lead and a shutout so far.
So the punter, Peyton Ludeman, will go ahead and line up his punt, but a timeout called by the Bulldogs. Might as well burn that one as well. They burn their final one, so no timeouts left for either team. 23 seconds left before Ludeman will kick it away. And like you said, don't even give him a chance to return it. Go ahead and kick it into the end zone for a touchback or send it out of bounds if you can, and accept that the offense – you think that Anderson would even go for it if the way their passing game's gone this night? I expect them to kneel the ball. And then in the half, and go to the half. That's what I would do. You're only down 2 scores. You have a whole half of football. You just got to come out and keep the self-inflicted wounds, those false starts and the holding penalties. You keep those at bay. Anderson has moved the ball well enough. If they could keep themselves ahead of the chains, it's difficult. We've seen both teams with penalties so far. And it looks like they're going to elect to go for it here on 4th and 11 because as we were talking about, they're likely to just take a knee. So Mallett will go ahead and set up in the shotgun. 2 receivers on both sides and dropping back for a pass as Mallett fires across the middle. It's complete. And that's a first down. Picking up the first down, Jaden York. That stops the clock at 17 seconds left. They burned their final timeout a moment ago, so they're going to have to operate quickly. And they're going to spike the ball, kill the clock. And Mallett does that after he fumbles it. And he angrily throws it to the ground. I've never really seen that before. Is he allowed to do that after a fumble? They still wound the clock, so no. In fact, that's why the clock burned down to 0. And that will end the first half. And At the end of 2 quarters complete, the Bowie Bulldogs lead the Anderson Trojans 13-0 here on Austin ISD Thursday night game of the week presented by SHN Sports. Karl Schoening along with Chuck Kracy. David England is on the camera, and we're going to air the halftime show, both bands, here live on YouTube and SHN Sports. So enjoy that. We'll take a break, and we'll come back with the third quarter. Up next after the marching bands perform.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the award-winning James Bowie High School Silver Stars. The 2018-29 Silver Stars are led by Junior Lieutenants Landry Case, Gabby D'Angelo, and Jade Fatu. Senior Lieutenants Veronica Rapp and Trinity Vogel. First Lieutenant Chloe Borsch and Captain Kristen Howe. The steering committee includes junior member Alyssa Macias, senior members Katarina Chavan and Bianca Rodriguez. We continue tonight's halftime performance with the nationally acclaimed James Bowie Outdoor Performing Ensemble. This year's production is titled Floridly Primordial, and music includes Fantasies on a Theme by Haydn by Dello Gioio, Air on a G-String by Bach, A Whiter Shade of Pale by Procul Harum, Enigma Variations by Edward Elgar. The Outdoor Performing Ensemble is led by drum majors Adam Dinkins, Madison Wilson, and Sarah Brown. And now, for your halftime entertainment, the James Bowie Outdoor Performing Ensemble. The section of the week is Production Crew. The outdoor performing ensemble is under the direction of Garth Gunderson, Riaz Mohammed, Jennifer Hanford, Reed Paxton, Miguel Perez, and Joey Powell.
To continue your halftime entertainment, the award-winning 2018-2019 Anderson High School Trojan Bells Dance Team and Trojan Band. The Trojan Bells are under the direction of Mrs. Kayla Orton and Miss Carrie Brown. The bell officers are Junior Lieutenant Kate Upchurch, Junior Lieutenant Callie Wilson, Senior Lieutenant Olivia Rusk, First Lieutenant Jillian Vines, and Captain Eden Cohen. The social officers are Junior Social Officer Emma Ellis, Junior Social Officer Shelby Owens, and President Lucy Shabi. The Bell of the Week is Andrea Cisneros, and Officer's Choice is Kara Funke. Tonight, the Bells will be performing a dazzling skirt routine to Animal. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Trojan Bells! now, to continue your halftime entertainment, please welcome Anderson's oldest and proudest tradition, the pride of Northwest Austin, the 2018 Trojan Marching Band. Drum majors for the Trojan Band are Junyi Jung, Andrea de Santiago Perez, and Supriti Parajuli. Soloists are Liam Goff and Olivia Jones. Officers of the band are co-presidents Max Hill, Johnny McBride, and Alexis Townsend. Vice President of Social and Service Activities, Stephen O. Librarians Leah Dubiel and Helena Lewis. Band managers Aiden DiCarlo and Andrew Stevens. The Trojan Band Marchers of the Week are John Field, Jack Gunning, Valeria Bonilla, and Casimiro Alvarado. The Trojan Band would like to thank the Anderson community for their generosity during our yearly Flamingoing fundraiser. We would also like to thank Arboretum Vision Care, Austin Capital Bank, College Nannies and Tuners, Double Dave's Pizza, Easter and Easter Realtors, the Med Spa at Northwest Hills, Mike Mangum Welding, More Than a Teacher, Nest Properties Austin, Pokey Joe Smokehouse, Premium Cabinets, and Blue Dragon Plumbing for their sponsorships. Thank you for sponsoring the Trojan Band. Tonight, the Trojan Band will perform their 2018 production entitled Connect Us. Ladies and gentlemen, the Trojan Band. Ladies and gentlemen, the Anderson Trojan Band. The dance guard instructor is William Henry. Percussion instructor is Daniel Wainwright. Directors of the Anderson Band are Andrea Gonzalez, Frank Nedley, Jeff Cleveland, and Scott Taylor.
Karl Schoening and Chuck Kracy back here from historic House Park in Austin, Texas. Happy to bring you this Austin ISD Thursday night game of the week. The Bowie Bulldogs leading the Anderson Trojans 13-0 based off of pretty much from the word go. Punt return to start things off for the Bulldogs. They struck first, scored there, and then on their first offensive series they came down and scored a touchdown with a wild bulldog formation the majority of the time, as we've come to call it, as the Wildcat was how they started, and then it was a handoff to Kyle Carter, who finished it up going into the end zone for a 2-yard touchdown, and a 65-yard punt return, a 2-yard touchdown, and a missed point after attempt off of a bobbled snap that goes a little high of the holder, and that's where you have your 13-0 game. Low scoring. Bulldogs offense hasn't had too much time on the field because the Anderson Trojans eat up a lot of clock.
That is correct, and it's the offense that does it. It's the style of offense, and it's ideal if you're able to stay ahead of the chains, as we've mentioned multiple times tonight. Kyle Carter, the main offensive weapon tonight for the Bowie Bulldogs, and has shown up big.
And as we get ready for the third quarter, it's starting a little bit late because the Trojans marching band played past their time, so they'll be penalized and next week won't be able to play at halftime. So
well, that happened to Leander. I'm not so sure that how that rule is enforced, but fortunately for Leander, they had homecoming the very next week, and the band didn't perform at halftime anyway.
And fortunately for the teams, they're the ones that aren't the ones getting penalized. So that's also a good plus. Is the only people really having to worry about it are the teams that need to stay a little warm. So,
well, now I'll mention that in my PA duties on senior night previously, I was taking too long reading all the seniors' names from all the different groups, and ultimately I got a call in the box from the field that said if I didn't wrap it up, they were going to give Leander a 15-yard penalty to open the second half. So
wow.
It can hurt the team as well. So but they got off in time. I don't think they're threatening any penalties against Anderson here in their home game.
Well, that'll make you hurry. Even if they can't do that, it'll make you hurry just in case they can.
Oh, definitely.
The Bulldogs deferred to the second half, so they'll go ahead and bring out their return team as the Trojans will have their first kickoff of the evening. Durst back deep to receive the kickoff along with Jason Gaines. Putting his foot into it for the Anderson Trojans will be D'Angelo Dowdy. So the sophomore defensive back and running back doing the kicking duties. He'll go ahead and break his huddle here in a moment. So Dowdy will go ahead and take his first charge of the evening. It's a 7-yard charge. He readies his teammates as he'll take off from the 33 and kick it away from the 40. It's a squib kick that takes an awkward bounce and will be taken by Gaines from the 23-yard line. He runs up the middle and is brought down at the 35-yard line, a 12-yard return, and that's where the Bulldogs will start their drive here to start the third quarter.
That was Nathaniel Velez in there along with Dowdy.
Only 4 seconds come off of the clock, and that awkward bounce there at the moment could have been interesting ploy, but it gets to gains pretty easily.
Well, you know, football's not round, so it bounces oddly, and that might have been the hope of the Anderson Trojans, with that it would take an Anderson Trojan bounce. Did not.
The Wild Bulldog, as Kyle Carter is in the shotgun with Terrence Durst to his right. Zone read. It's a handoff to Durst. He avoids one tackle, gets across the 35 to the 40. Stutter steps at the 45 and gets out of bounds at the 47-yard line. He gets onto the Trojan side of the field and picks up the first down for the Bulldogs.
That's a fantastic block by the wide receiver, number 21, Jackson Lord. Not only can he return kicks and catch the ball, he gets out on the edge and blocks as well.
So now 1st and 10 from the Trojans' 47-yard line. It'll be Carter in the shotgun, Durst to the left, and 2 receivers on both sides. From the left hash mark, Carter will follow his lead blocker. Durst cuts back over to the right side, gets across the 45, and is brought down at the 43-yard line. Credit the tackle to the Trojans' Cameron Langford.
That's good patience and a nice read of the blocking by the running back Carter. He was patiently waited, and then when the Anderson defense stacked up outside, he cut it inside and was able to pick up a nice gain.
So they stay in that Wild Bulldog as Carter will send Lord in motion, and it's a handoff on the end around to Lord. He goes around the right end, gets across the 40, and is dropped at the 39-yard line. A pickup of 4 yards on 2nd down brings up 3rd and 2 as a minute comes off here in the 3rd quarter.
Looked like that was Andre Jackson, number 6, on the stop, and a little Jackson on Jackson action there.
Carter still in the shotgun in the Wild Bulldog, and he goes up the left guard, behind the left guard, gets across the 35, picks up the first down to the 31-yard line.
He was one step away from breaking that one, Nathaniel Velez there.
Carry goes down to the 31-yard line, good for a Bulldog first down.
So 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. They're at the Trojans' 31-yard line. The clock still moving at 10:31 left here in the 3rd quarter. Kyle Carter in the shotgun. Green is the fullback. Green moves in motion to the right side, and Carter will follow his blockers behind the right end and get across the 30 to the 32-yard line.
Nice job by Carter reading the block by Green and cutting inside that block to pick up a few yards.
Gets to the 28-yard line, I beg your pardon. And
Carry goes down to the 27-yard line. Gain of 4 yards brings up
a little huddle near the line of scrimmage. You don't see many huddles in the zone spread offense.
Carter still in the shotgun. Durst to his right. Tight end on the left side. Zone read. It's a handoff to Durst, and he turns the corner back to the line of scrimmage and is able to pick up 2 yards to the 25-yard line.
It was a great job by him to get any yardage on that play as the Anderson Trojan defense were waiting for him on the edge. Langford and number 20, Jackson Green there.
3rd and 4 from the 25. Carter in the shotgun. Durst to his left. He'll run it up the gut, picks up the first down. Moores, he cuts outside, across the 15, the 10, 5, touchdown. Bulldogs.
That was a lot of green there after he broke through the line of scrimmage.
That'll go ahead and put them up 19-0.
The Anderson defense started bringing guys into the box, trying to slow down that inside run. Carter started inside, broke to the outside, and had nothing but green to the corner of the end zone.
And they had a tight end lined up on the left side, and a lot of the attention was going towards that left side of the field, and he was able to cut right and only have to defeat a couple defenders. Josh McCormick will attempt the point after the hold is good and the kick through the uprights, and it's 20-0. The Bowie Bulldogs leading the Anderson Trojans here with 9:01 left to play in the 3rd quarter. And here's where Anderson's offense kind of is counterproductive in their favor, because it keeps you close until you're down by 3 scores.
Well, and there's still plenty of time left here. What Anderson needs to do is get a score on this drive. If they can march down, you want to eat clock, but not too much now here in the second half. But you want to march down, score. You're only down 2 scores at that point. So it's not over by any stretch, but it's starting to get that way.
Yeah, now it'll be up to Bowie to probably burn some clock. And as we've been talking about, they're doing that wild Bulldogs, so they're keeping the ball on the ground and going ahead and just chomping up turf on the ground that way. And why put it in the air and risk stopping the clock?
Well, and I came into this game expecting Bowie to be a passing attack mostly, but especially based on what I've seen previously and how they tore up on Pflugerville early in the season. But as you can see, they have quite a running attack here.
Merrick and Fulmer back deep to receive the ensuing kickoff from McCormick. 9:01 to play in the third quarter. The Bulldogs, fresh off a touchdown, lead it 20-0. And the ball falls off the tee, so McCormick will have to reset.
Bulldogs have a little interesting kickoff formation where they double up there in the middle. You don't know who's going down which lane. May assist in their coverage.
McCormick with the 9-yard charge. Sends it away. It's a beauty of a kick. He's had a couple touchbacks tonight, and this one will just go out the back of the end zone. And the Trojans will start at their own 25-yard line.
They're going to have to answer here, Karl. The Bulldogs have owned this game to this point. We've seen one excellent or pretty good, I can't say excellent, it didn't turn out in points, but one pretty good drive from the Trojans. But other than that, it's been a suffocating Bowie Bulldog defense that has shut down the Anderson Trojans tonight.
Scott Del Bosque will come in here and deliver the play as he's the quarterback that goes under center. Jumbo set in the backfield, and it's a handoff to Fulmer. Fulmer spins in the trenches, stays on his feet. Flags come in after a pickup of about 2 yards to the 27-yard line, but the flag's in the area of a hold.
It could be a hold or a chop block. It is a hold. There was a big pile of bodies there right where the flag was thrown at the point of attack. You know, the new rule in high school football is you can't block below the waist unless you're within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage and the defender is in a 10-2, like your clock, 10-2 range, or it could be a penalty. It wasn't in this case. It was a hold, but.
Yeah, it's something to keep an eye on because you imagine it probably is brought up in coaching for this style of offense.
Yeah, I've seen it called a few times throughout the season.
1st and 20 from the 15-yard line, and it's a handoff to Fulmer. He goes around right in, tries to evade a couple tackles, gets across the 20, and he's out of bounds at the 23-yard line. So a pickup of 8 yards will almost get back that penalty yardage and bring up 2nd and 12.
Fulmer's carry comes out to the 23-yard line.
Durst there on the stop for the Bulldogs. Left corner.
And he's also the running back on the offensive side of the ball. With the run going out of bounds, the clock stops at 8:32 here in the third quarter. Merrick goes out wide left, and now Del Bosque will go under center, sends a man in motion, and Givens gets the handoff, goes behind his right guard, and falls across the 25-yard line, gets to the 27, and that pickup of about 4 yards will bring up 3rd and 8.
You see how Anderson will huddle, but then they hustle to the line and snap the ball pretty quickly. It's really the only way to try to fast-pace that type of offense. Try to catch the defense napping a little bit while you're in the huddle, rush up to the line. Hasn't worked so far tonight. The Bowie defense, as I said just a few moments ago, very suffocating.
It'll be the shotgun for Del Bosque. The first time we've seen that tonight. He drops back for a pass, looks for a man on the left side. Merrick, he catches it at the 40, and he will be brought down at the 43-yard line. Call it the 42, but enough for a first down for the Trojans. And, hey,
first completion of the night.
Yeah, not too bad out of the shotgun.
Well, you know, they have, as we mentioned, 3 pass attempts so far tonight. That's the first completion for the Trojans. One of those 3 pass attempts, a fake punt.
Yeah, well, it still counts on the stat sheet, I suppose.
Yeah.
Clock picks back up, under 7:30 to play here in the third quarter, and I wouldn't put it past the Trojans to maybe go back into that shotgun formation and see what they can do. They elect not to as they go back to a jumbo set in the backfield with Del Bosque, who flips it to Fulmer. Fulmer runs around right end, and he might have gotten back to his line of scrimmage.
Great pursuit by the Bowie defense there. Number 23 in on the tackle there, Elijah Wesley.
They will say it was a loss of 1, so back about half a yard to the 42-yard line.
The Bowie defense is pretty quick laterally. It's why you want to run straight at them if you can, but then the Bowie defense has, to counter that, stacked as many players in the box as they can, and that's where that pass was successful because there was nobody out. It was one-on-one coverage, and let's see what they do.
Here on 2nd and 11, it's a play action, a pass out to the right side, and it's incomplete as that was intended for the receiver, Kelby Hickerson. And the sophomore was unable to find it on the route, and that stops the clock at 6:27, brings up 3rd and 11.
Hickerson, a big receiver. They were hoping to get a 50-50 ball there. It just wasn't accurate enough. You know, with a 50-50 ball, if your guy doesn't get it, sometimes you get a interference penalty.
If it were a little closer on the pass, there maybe could have been an argument.
There was contact, but it was too high, uncatchable.
Out of the shotgun, Del Bosque will take a high snap and drop back. Scans to the left, fires to the left. Goes over to Merrick, and it's incomplete.
That was a beautiful pass. It hit Merrick in stride. Good coverage there.
By Goss, Joshua Goss, who has been kind of bored all night following Merrick out to the wide left when they start out of their huddle. Does a good job staying stride for stride and
the pass hit Merrick in the hands, though. I mean, you can't really place it any more accurately than that.
Clock stops at 6:21 here in the 3rd quarter, 4th and 11. And Jackson Lord will be waiting at the 25 for punt return. He had the opening score with the punt return tonight.
Yeah, I'd be kicking away from Mr. Lord if I'm Anderson right here.
Trevor Merrick will go ahead and send this one away from the 30. It almost gets blocked by him. Lord will take it from the 30, cuts to the hash marks, tries to evade to Jackson. He does, gets across the 40 to the 45. Flag comes out as he's down at the 46-yard line, usually in the area of blocking the back.
Blocking the back. That was a great cut by Lord, though. He had defenders there that were preventing him from going outside. He just cut right inside them. We're able to pick up about 18 yards on that return, but it's coming back.
They're asking the Bulldogs about the penalty, though. Let's see what the referee says. Will be a holding.
Well, we were wrong on the call. It's still same distance on the penalty.
34-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Bowie.
And they're going to mark that off from the 43, so it goes back to the 33-yard line. 10-yard penalty is where the Bulldogs take over. 6:10 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Bowie up 20-0, and they're looking to burn a little clock here as Malik comes out in the shotgun. Zone read, hands it off to Carter, and Carter's dropped in the backfield. He was able to spin his body to the line of scrimmage.
Sincere Turner there coming in from the edge to make the stop behind the line of scrimmage. They're going to say he made it back to the line of scrimmage, but great play by Turner.
Yeah, he was hitting the back, but Carter able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Trips left, 2nd and 10 from the 34-yard line. Mallet in the shotgun. Hands it off to Carter again. Gets room across the right guard. Gets across the 40 to the 45, and he's dropped at the 46-yard line. Picks up the 1st down for Bowie.
That's Langford saving a touchdown right there. Carter was that close from going to the house here at House Park.
Nicely placed pun there, whether intended or not. 1st and 10 for Bowie. 2 receivers to the right side, single receiver on the left side. It's a handoff to Carter, and Carter gets across the 50 and is into Trojans territory at the 47-yard line as Langford makes the stop. The clock keeps moving at 5:07 here in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 3 coming up.
The Bowie rushing attack is starting to wear down the Trojan defense.
So after the gain of 7 from Carter, he's in the backfield with Mallet. He's going to get the handoff again. He picks up the 1st down, and he gets 4 yards to the 42-yard line, and a new set of downs for the Bulldogs.
Bowie taking a page out of the Anderson Trojan game plan and just eating clock with the ground attack. And Anderson hasn't had an answer for him here in the second half.
Mallet will head back into the shotgun, trips left, single receiver wide to the right, and Carter offset to the left side. Mallet on 1st and 10 hands it off to Carter, and he gets to the 40, picks up about a yard. They'll actually mark him down at the 39-yard line. That's where he stopped, and the clock keeps moving at 4:17 left here in the third.
Jack Finken there on the stop for the Trojans, the linebacker.
2nd and 9 for the Bulldogs. They're keeping it on the ground, like we said, trying to eat up some clock. Mallet will drop back and set up a screen over to the left side, crossing the 40 to the 35, lowering his shoulder and picking up the first down. A good play there from Cade Fordori, and he gets it to the first down marker.
That was a pass, but that's just a long handoff right there. Just throw it right into the flat.
They did not give him the first down. It looked like from my angle he had it, but it'll be
they gave him the first.
Now they give him the first. For a moment there, they didn't give it to him, but it will be 1st and 10 now, as for a moment there it was going to be 3rd and inches. And now the handoff to Carter. He spins up the middle and gets back to the line of scrimmage and is able to fight forward one more step for the first down to the 30.
Very athletic play by number 15, Nathaniel Velez, to fight off the block and make the stop. Also there, number 99, Houseman.
There's an injured Bulldog on the field. He's stretching it out in the area of a cramp. And
it is very humid tonight, pretty toasty, considering we were in the 70-degree range just last week. Well,
while we hope the injured player is okay, we'll go ahead and give some scores from around the area. Glenn High School leading Weiss 30-6, 9:26 left in the fourth quarter there. Lanier at Travis, it's 12-7. Lanier leading Travis, and the third quarter just getting going. And the Austin Maroons trailing Del Valley at halftime, 31-14. The injured Bulldog, Jackson Lord, able to come off the field under his own power, and the Bulldogs will come back out and continue their drive. 2nd and 8 from the 30, 3:20 left to play here in the third quarter.
Trojans are really going to need a stop here if they want to stay in this game at all. They're running out of time here with only 3 minutes left in the third.
It'll be Carter in the Wild Bulldog. Durst to his left. Green in at fullback, set up to the right. Zone read, it's handoff to Durst. He evades one tackle, goes around right in, gets across the 25 to the 20, and he's brought down inside the 15-yard line.
Velez there on the stop for Anderson, but Bowie continuing to grind the clock and eat up yards in the red zone now.
3 minutes to play here in the third. Bowie in the red zone, knocking on the door, trying to add to their 20-0 lead. It'll be Carter in the shotgun, Durst to his left. Zone read and a handoff to Durst. He's dropped in the backfield. That's Jackson with the tackle, and the tackle for loss brings it back to the 18-yard line.
Great open field tackle by Andre Jackson out there. He doesn't make that tackle. Durst is going in for a score.
2nd and 14 from the 18, and a huddle here from the Bulldogs. Two receivers already lined up on the wide side of the field. It's Carter in the shotgun, Durst to his left. And he's going to follow the blockers and then cut back on a counter to the right side, across the 10, angles in the 5, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Bulldogs.
Can you say deja vu? I think that was the very same play they scored on earlier in this quarter. They stacked everything to the left, forced the Trojan defense to defend on that side, and then Carter starts to the middle and cuts to the right where there's open field, takes it all the way in. You're not going to arm tackle him.
So McCormick comes out for the point-after attempt. They've only missed one point-after attempt tonight. Here's a good try for the second one, or for the third point-after attempt. It's through and good. And
they kicked that one over the scoreboard.
And the score, with 2:09 left in the third quarter, the Bowie Bulldogs lead the Anderson Trojans 27-0. Karl Schoening along with Chuck Kracy, David England on our camera here from historic House Park in Austin, Texas. The gorgeous and growing skyline to our left, and
it changes almost every week, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Cranes are almost always in our shots when you get a look over there to the far left side, and sooner than later, this will be also renovated.
Sure,
here as,
it needs it.
Yeah,
it's a great atmosphere, but the bleachers, press boxes, some of the facilities do need to be updated.
Yeah, once you get into the 21st century, it's time to join the rest of the Austin area and update the facilities.
Well, and you see they've updated the field. It's the field turf like everyone expects now. But, the extras for us fans and broadcasters, et cetera, we would like a little bit better. But, hey, I don't pay Austin ISD taxes, so I better not complain.
Yeah, exactly. We'll let them handle that. McCormick will line up a 9-yard charge on the ensuing kickoff. Fulmer and Merrick are back deep to receive. 2:09 to play here in the third quarter. Bulldogs lead at 27-0. Toe to leather and a powerful kick from McCormick. This will be a goal line from the goal line. It'll be Merrick bringing it out, and he should have taken the 25 yards on the touchback as he only gets to the 20 and caught the 21.
You got to give credit there to the Bowie Bulldog coaching staff. They had their special teams ready. He was going to fake. He actually did fake like he was going to take a knee, which a lot of times typically your coverage team, if they're not well coached, they're going to let up. He could have busted that for a long one if that were the case. The Bowie Bulldogs special teams continue to hustle.
I think North Texas has everybody on edge with the special teams these days.
You can't trust any of those things. Until that whistle blows, you better be going.
So Scott Del Bosque under center will go ahead and toss it out, and it's a pass attempt as Fulmer throws it down the sideline. It's caught. A nice catch out to the 40-yard line. Made the catch there. Blaze Derbyshire, the sophomore.
Nice play call there. Halfback pass. Number 46, the reception. He's not on this roster.
I have Blaze Derbyshire from the roster sent to me by
I'd go with
Coach
that,
Daniel Hunter. So we'll go with that. They called him Joey Harris across the way. You never know what the PA has on us, but we'll go with Derbyshire because that sounds right.
That's a good football name.
Yeah. So a minute 32 left here in the third quarter, and a little bit of life brought into the Anderson Trojans as they decide to pass on first down, and they're going to pass here on first down again over to the left side. Merrick tries to dive for it, and he has it go through his hands off the turf. Incomplete. The clock stopped at 1:21 on the incomplete pass, but Anderson sensing some urgency down 4 scores here.
That was a great effort by the receiver there, number 5, Merrick. He laid out for it, but couldn't quite hang on to it. You can't expect everyone to be Odell Beckham Jr. out here. So.
No, not really. They do like the highlights, though. Those receivers are watching that.
Well, Devin Duvernay at Texas does that about once every other week for a touchdown, lays vertical.
2nd and 10, it'll be Del Bosque in the shotgun. He sends Derbyshire in motion, and now Derbyshire has the pass go over his head. He was the intended receiver, and 4 seconds come off of the clock, and that brings up 3rd and 10.
Bowie defense forced Del Bosque to throw that a little quicker than he would have liked to. He was unable to get his shoulders square. He was rolling opposite of his strength hand, and it makes it very difficult to throw an accurate pass unless you can square your shoulders. So the Bowie pressure prevented that.
Yeah, and that made that pass a little high. So a team that's been running it all night, starting to pass it, sensing the urgency, and into the shotgun, Del Bosque will drop back. Scans to the left, fires to the left, and he has a catch.
That's
down,
a first down,
and it's
or
close
close
to a first down. A nice catch for
and they're going to give him the 48
Tyler.
For a first down.
The Trojans move the chains as they try to go through the air to extend this game. The clock picks back up. 1 minute to play here in the third quarter.
The Bowie coaching staff getting very animated here. Not wanting to give up any points. Shutouts are a premium in high school football.
Scott Del Bosque will move back under center. They're in the I formation, and a toss out to Fulmer. Fulmer will throw on the run, and it's a flag coming in as Derbyshire was tripped up at the 40.
It could have been either way, because it looked like their legs got tied up. Generally, that can be incidental contact, but I was thinking interference when I saw it as well. They went back to the well, though. Bowie defense was ready for it that time as they had a couple of defenders on Darvashaw.
So the officials talking things over to see if that was even a catchable pass, see if these flags get picked up. It will be a 15-yard penalty as Derbyshire got tripped up while he was running the route, and that puts the Trojans into Bulldog territory at the 38-yard line.
It's hard to tell from our angle. There could have been hand contact on his back as well. From our angle, it just looked like their legs got tangled, but you know, all it takes is an extended hand, and the referee's going to throw that flag.
I think that's what the officials were discussing, and now they're going to come up and talk to see if the placement of the ball is right. They'll go ahead and move that ahead to the 37-yard line. So from the 37-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Trojans, who have moved the ball better in this series than they have all night. Scott Del Bosque flips it over to Fulmer. Fulmer tries to follow his blockers on the right side, and he's able to get back to the line of scrimmage, picks up about half a yard.
He carrying that ball a little loose there. Cooper Lackey, the defensive lineman, was almost able to get it out of there as he made the stop. You got to keep that thing high and tight.
Second down and 9 yards to go.
Yeah, only half a yard really, as that football is between the 36 and the 37, and it was just marked on the 37 here as it looks like Fulmer will be giving the instructions. Usually the quarterback is the one relaying the sidelines orders, and that will be the end of the third quarter anyway. So after 3 complete, the Bowie Bulldogs lead the Anderson Trojans 27-0. But Anderson, trying to get on the scoreboard for the first time tonight, has their best opportunity from the 37-yard line when we start the fourth quarter. I'm Karl Schoening along with Chuck Kracy. This is the Austin ISD Thursday night game of the week presented by SHN Sports. Happy you guys tuned in to this broadcast. It's been a fun one despite the score. These Bulldogs, they're looking good tonight.
They look like they want to compete for that 4th spot there in 25-6A. I mean, there's a lot of football to be played, but when you have Lake Travis and Westlake in your district, you kind of almost have to give them 1 and 2. You got to play them. You want to beat them. But they lose very infrequently. And then with Hayes playing at the level that they're playing, having beat both of these teams, it kind of looked like they're the early favorite for that 3rd spot. But who knows? With that offense, if they stay ahead of the chains, the Hayes Rebels, against a Westlake or a Lake Travis, they may end up in 2nd or 1st even.
Are we just going to go ahead and say Westlake and Lake Travis have automatic bids?
Usually.
Yeah. Pretty much at the beginning of the season. That's a rough draw every year. There's just realignment.
There were some teams that were grateful for realignment. We won't mention their names, but although that's not always a good thing because you get realigned from one district to another. Sometimes there's some really good teams in that one.
Exactly. So 2nd and 9 from the 36. It's Jackson who goes in motion, gets it on the end around. He's brought down from behind and no gain on the play.
Looks like Anderson's trying to pull out their own wild Trojan here with Fulmer at the quarterback position.
Yeah, as we mentioned right before the end of the third, Fulmer was the one deciding the play calls, and he's the one who's actually made a couple passes here tonight. So Fulmer getting the opportunity at the quarterback position. As we talked about it, the normal quarterback, who's Karsten Gruss, did not really play too much tonight.
He's coming off an injury. It looks like he's not 100%.
Jackson goes in motion. Fulmer has to jump for the snap, and he runs up the middle, picks up yards to the 31-yard line. So a pickup of about 5 yards.
Pretty decent game, but you're looking at 4th down and about 5 or 4, rather.
Yeah, they'll mark it 4th and 4. So the clock keeps moving. 11 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. And Fulmer comes back from the sidelines with new instructions. 15 seconds on the play clock.
Yeah, Trojans really need to try to get some points here, try to get a little bit of momentum back.
Two fullbacks set over to the right of Fulmer. He's going to send Jackson in motion left to right. The defensive back coming in at receiver. He's going to get it on the end around, fakes the pass, decides to run, gets to the 30, and he might have gotten close to that yard to gain at the 26-yard line.
It's
See
going to
what
be
the
close.
line judges say.
Jackson on the carry for the Trojans. Tackle made by number 31.
And they're bringing the chains.
Yeah, they're going to do a measurement.
5 yards and a Trojan.
They're going to give him the first.
Yeah, they'll go ahead and just give him the first down to the 26-yard line. So
excellent play by number 6, Andre Jackson, because he looked like he was going to throw it. He had his arm cocked with the ball all the way back and decided to tuck it and run.
didn't like what he saw across the field and does a good job picking up the first down anyway. Fulmer will send Jackson in motion left to right. He bobbles the snap, and he'll follow Jackson on the lead block across the 20, or just stop just short of the 20. Good job by the defense of the Bulldogs, as it was a stop made by Kendrick Neptune, and that'll be a pickup of 4.
The play brings up second down and 6 yards to go for the Trojans.
The clock is burning. They can ill afford the Trojans to spend too much time in the huddle.
But, you know, you can't go no huddle all of a sudden because you change the way you communicate.
You can't change what you do. You just got to be quicker about it.
Fulmer in the shotgun. Two fullbacks to his right. Jackson out to the left side on the left hash. He goes in motion. It's the same play over and over, except Fulmer runs to the left this time and gets just to the 15-yard line, and that'll be a first down for Anderson as they enter the red zone.
That was a nice read by Fulmer and excellent effort to keep it off the left end and pick up first down yardage with about 9 minutes left in tonight's game.
Clock moves here. 9 minutes left in the fourth period of play. Trojans break their huddle. Fulmer in the shotgun. Jackson lined up on the slot to the left, goes in motion. And Jackson will go around right end, tries to evade a couple tackles, and is dropped at the 15-yard line. And the ball came out, but the whistles will go ahead and say that the officials will say that the Bulldogs picked it up, and that's a turnover on the Trojans on their most promising drive of the evening.
There's good defense there by Bowie. I didn't see who got the recovery. It
was on the recovery there, Reese
5-0.
Poole. So Reese Poole picks up the turnover, and that'll be a fumble recovery on his stat sheet. And with 8:40 left to play here in the fourth quarter, the Bowie Bulldogs with a 27-0 lead come back out and start at the 15 of the Anderson Trojans. Mallett in the shotgun, Carter to his right. Zone read, and Mallett will keep, spins up the middle, and gets to the 17-yard line, picks up 2, 2nd and 8 coming up.
Dayon Jung there on the stop. Trojans reading that one nicely on the defensive side. They got to be disappointed turning the ball over after a nice drive like that.
Yeah, first time in the red zone this evening for the Trojans, unable to come up with a score. Mallett in the shotgun. 2nd and 8 from the 17. Carter to his left. Zone read, and
the Trojans are bringing pressure. Jung again coming with a blitz. He wasn't on the tackle, but he did disrupt the play.
Beg your pardon, Marquise Henderson there with the carry. And now Carter will be subbed back in. 34, not 24. We've made that mistake a couple times tonight with these jerseys scrunched up. You can't quite see that middle digit for the 3.
It's even harder when you're looking at the front part of the jersey.
So now Carter is the back to the left of Mallett on 3rd and 9, and it's a trick play here as Lord will run around left in on the reverse, gets across the 30 and is brought down at the 34-yard line. So nice play as the receiver comes around on the end around and gets the reverse, goes around to pick up the first down.
Barrera for the Trojans was there to make the play, but you got to keep your head up. You can't tackle what you can't see. Lord runs right by him.
He's a speedster, as we've already noticed tonight.
Definitely a weapon for the Bulldogs, offense and special teams.
1st and 10 from the Trojans' 33. The Bulldogs trying to march down the field, add on to their 27-0 lead. In the backfield, a whistle stop play, but it was going to be a handoff to
False start.
James King.
Flags on the field.
Jamin King saying, hey, you stole my first carry on the false start.
You know, my luck, they pull me out, and then I don't get to carry it. Yeah. Oh, you got to carry. Bowie trying to eat a little bit of clock again here on this drive. 6:43 left. They have it in hand here. Just we take a miracle at this point.
A few miracles at this point. So 1st and 15 from the 28, 6:30 left in the 4th. Mallett in the shotgun, and King will be to his right. Green is the fullback, and the handoff to King. He runs around his left tackle and gets to the 30, spins forward to the 31-yard line, and that picks up 3 yards on 1st down. And
Langford on the stop there for the Trojans. The ball was a little loose there. He's able to hang on to it, though. 6:03 and counting here. Bowie taking their time.
under 6 minutes to play in the 4th. I would too, up 27-0, and just go ho-hum and move on to 4-2 overall, and even up the score, even up the record at 2-2 in District 25 6A.
And really position themselves for that playoff spot, that 4th playoff spot.
Here's King running around left end. He stutter steps at the 31 and then is knocked backwards.
Jung there with another tackle, having a good series here for the Trojans.
And that'll be no gain on the play. 3rd and 12 from the 31. Marquise Henderson comes in now as the running back, so we can probably assume the night is over for Kyle Carter, who is getting a well-deserved rest here in the 4th quarter, as he's been the key factor to the Bulldogs picking up the win here tonight.
Yeah, if you're picking player of the game, it's between him and Lord.
Play action, dropping back as Mallett sidesteps and fires down the middle of the field and just overthrows Lord.
Yeah, I saw Lord streaking right after I said it's between him and Lord. Passed too long, though.
He was trying to get that touchdown, solidify his spot as MVP of the game.
Right. Good coverage out there by Langford, but Lord had enough space to where if the pass is accurate, he's probably taking it all the way.
So flag comes in, but the penalty is declined, and this will be a punting unit coming out for the Bulldogs. If I'm not mistaken, Lord's parents were right in front of us tonight.
Oh, is that right?
I was just guessing off their body language.
Well, they were probably happy then. We didn't say anything negative about him.
Except for when we staked him as 31 on the punt. Yeah, they gave me a half little turn there. I was like,
he got
oh,
extra credit for that.
He can do it all.
The Trojans going to get a chance to try to at least get some pride points here.
Andre Jackson back deep to receive McCormick's punt. It's a beauty of a punt that will make Jackson backpedal. He tries to take it from the 33 and gets to the 35, tiptoes the sidelines to the 38-yard line. Flags come in. I think this is a late hit.
Definitely a late hit out of bounds, getting a little chirpy. Good coverage there by the Bowie Bulldog punt team as they were able to get and corner Jackson on the Anderson sideline. They just got a little overzealous as he stepped out of bounds, and that'll put the Trojans in pretty good position here to try to break this shutout with 4:37 left in the game. There's going to be a meeting about the penalty. Anderson head coach out there. Daniel Hunter, the head coach out there, making sure that they don't get robbed out of that 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, like you said, pride points right now, and every yard matters after the first trip to the red zone for the Trojans this evening ended in a fumble return. There's also a flag back over at the 25. If I'm not mistaken, that's a flag.
Yeah,
and
that's
the
probably
officials
what the
talk it over.
discussion is. And there's also a hat on the ground, which means one of the punt returners went out of bounds. Couldn't have been Jackson, though, because he fielded it near the numbers.
Yeah, unsportsmanlike conduct will be the accepted penalty. That penalty markage knocked off from the 38-yard line.
Offsets. One of the penalties was against Anderson. It was difficult to hear it, but, yeah, he just.
Oh, so there was a third one, as you said, but that one does move the ball forward to the 43-yard line. So 5 yards in favor of the Trojans and 1st and 10 from their own 43-yard line. Del Bosque with Givens to his left in the shotgun. A handoff to Givens. He follows his right guard across the 45 to the 48-yard line, and a pickup of 5 yards on the play brings up 2nd and 5.
I'd be feeding Givens the ball right now. That's like tackling a Volkswagen coming through there.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
This late in the game, I'd pound him as much as I could. You don't want to tackle that guy too much.
2 receivers on both sides, 2nd and 5. It's another handoff to Givens. He cuts back up the middle, and he'll be brought down at the ankle as he crosses the 50 to the 44-yard line of the Bulldogs' territory. First down for the Anderson Trojans.
And you can see the Bulldog defenders just bounce off of him there between the tackles.
More of a spread look here for the first time tonight as there's an injured Bulldog who
looks like a cramp.
Yeah, he's going to try and get up under his own power, but
he tried to come off the field, but
yeah, they'll go ahead and give him an injury time out here. 27-0. The Bowie Bulldogs all but lock up the victory here with 3:52 left in the fourth quarter as the injured Bulldog is being tended to right now. As you said, pride points here for Anderson as they were moving down the field, and they were showing the spread look for the first time tonight.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Usually when a team will commit to one style of offense or another, they stay with it.
It's a close one as we're coming up to the end of the third quarter between Lanier and Travis. Lanier up 18-17 over Travis. So the Vikings with a 1-point lead as we're coming up close to the final period of play there. And also a good one between Austin and Del Valley, 31-21 as the third quarter is about 3 minutes in.
Austin High coming back in that one. They were down big.
So on 1st and 10 from the 44, Del Bosque will drop back and throw a quick out route. It's Tyler making the catch there. Cooper Tyler getting his second catch of the evening. Picks up
just a
2-yarder. 41, but hey, it was quick and out of bounds. It stops the clock at 3:41.
3 yards brings up second down and 7.
Glenn Grizzlies beating Weiss 28-0 at halftime in a local game.
Del Bosque in the shotgun. Givens to his left, trips to the left side. Dropping back is Del Bosque. He's under pressure, and he's just going to throw this one away. Did he get it out of the pocket?
No,
there's
grounding.
The grounding flag. Yeah. The official threw it very casually after the play was over.
We had to make sure there were no receivers in the area, and there were none on that whole side of the field. So he couldn't get out of the pocket. It was collapsing around him. So
I just was looking for the flag. It should have come out a little quicker, in my opinion. But, hey, it's 3:37 left in a 4-score game.
Yeah, referees, they have a life, too. They want to get out of here as well as anyone.
They're talking this one over for an obvious play.
They're waving it off. They're going to say he was out of the pocket. It did go past the line of scrimmage.
So 3rd and 7 coming up for Anderson. They're at the Bulldogs' 41-yard line. Givens to the left of Del Bosque. 2 receivers on both sides from the right hash mark. Del Bosque will call for the snap. Scans to his left as he looks to throw. over to the left side. The pass goes off of the shoulder pads of the intended receiver, Adam Fulmer, and the sophomore receiver couldn't quite come down with what would have been a first down, and 4th and 7. Now the play for the Trojans.
It was good coverage there by the Bowie defensive back, Hastings, but he didn't get his head around, so he was unaware the pass was coming his way. Almost a catch.
Del Bosque will be in the shotgun, 2 receivers on both sides. Gibbons to his left. 4th and 7 from the Bulldogs' 41-yard line. He'll drop back for a pass scan to the left, fire to the left, and it's in and out of the hands of Merrick, and that's incomplete. A turnover on downs. The clock stops at 3:28, and the Bulldogs will take over at their own 41-yard line.
Merrick just needed to concentrate on catching that pass. He had enough for the first down. Instead, he was thinking, I'm going to turn and run as soon as I catch this turn, and began that before he caught it. Ends up being a drop. Turns the ball over.
The official spots the ball at the 42-yard line, so either the scoreboard or the official is wrong, but either way, the Bulldogs pretty much
go with the official.
Yeah, and the Bulldogs, at this point just need to pick up a couple first downs. No need to score. They lead at 27-0, and it looks like they've been rotating different running backs in and out.
When they spend a little bit of time planning on the sideline, I'm sure it's don't fumble and stay in bounds.
The senior Aiden Elliser will have those instructions as he hands it off, and it will be a Marquise Henderson run up the gut to the 46-yard line and a pickup of 4 yards on first down.
They get a gain of 4 on the play. It'll bring it up 2nd down and 6.
Bowie going to take their time here with the play clock.
Oh, yeah, it's at 20 seconds right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go down to about 5 before Ellison calls for the snap. He has King to his right, 2 receivers on the right side, a single receiver to the left. The fullback is Nicholas Powers. Handoff to Henderson. He gets across the 45 and fights for yards to the 50. A pickup of 4 yards, and that'll bring up 3rd and 1.
Good effort by the running back, Henderson. Trying to make a bid for future playing time. It's starting to rain a little bit out here.
Oh, really?
Just a real light drizzle.
I see it, yeah. Well, luckily we're under the protection of the press box. We're not in the press box, mind you. They need to update some facilities. The press box can only hold so many people here at House Park.
I think it'd probably be more miserable in that press box than where we are right now.
Possibly true.
Not much airflow up there.
Ellison in the shotgun, Henderson to his right, I beg your pardon, and Ellison will follow blockers across the 50 into Trojan territory, across the 45 to the 43-yard line, and a first down picked up for the Bulldogs. At 1:51 left, it's not quite an opportunity for the Bulldogs to go into victory formation, as we're starting to see some heavy stuff will be approaching us here in a few moments. So go ahead and take that victory formation before that comes up, and we got to take this equipment out to the car.
Right.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll be okay. I didn't know it was going to storm, though.
Oh, it might. Aiden Elliser in the shotgun. Hands it off to Marquise Henderson, and he's dropped in the backfield for a loss of 1 to the 44-yard line.
Aiden Thompson there on the stop for the Trojans.
And now the rain is really starting to pick up. Thank you for David England pulling out the radar, and we start to see it coming, and the fans on both sides starting to retreat either back up here or go ahead and go to your car right now, as this game is all but over, and the victory formation.
Just hope we don't get a lightning delay or something like that.
Oh, there's no need for a lightning delay here. In fact, it should be time for the Bulldogs to take a knee. And, yeah, back under center is Elliser, and an offsides will be flags to stop this here. But all they need to do is take a knee, and this ball game will be over. And now it's really coming down, so sharp eyes there by you, Chuck.
They work sometimes.
Yep, and 5 yards moves the Bulldogs forward. And now Elser will go under center and take the knee, although a blitz being shown by the Trojans. He takes the knee, and that'll do it. So your final score from House Park, the Bowie Bulldogs improved to 4-2 under Jeff Abels and 2-2 in District 25 6A as they defeat the Anderson Trojans 27-0. Karl Schoening along with Chuck Kracy, our camera operator David England, thank you tonight for coming in and helping us out. And we talked about it, probably go back and forth between either giving it to Kyle Carter for the MVP or Jackson Ward, who started things off with that punt return.
I'd go on ahead and give it to Carter. He was Mr. Everything tonight, both offensively. You see him on defense even. That wasn't him. That was number 2. Merst, yeah. I'm going to have to say it would still have to be Carter, as he played a little quarterback, played a little running back, and was very successful all night long.
Any final thoughts before we sign off, Chuck?
Well, I think Bowie has really positioned themselves to make the playoffs here in 25-6A. A lot of football left to be played. Anything can happen. You've got an undefeated Hayes, you've got an undefeated Lake Travis, and an undefeated Westlake. They've played Hayes, but they haven't played Westlake or Lake Travis yet.
All right, well, we're going to sign off as the rain starts to pick up. David just showed us that it's pouring outside, and we'll go ahead and say for Chuck Kracy and David England, I'm Karl Schoening. Once again, the Bowie Bulldogs defeat the Anderson Trojans 27-0 from House Park here on Thursday night, Austin ISD SHN Game of the Week.